So we are starting that second chapter today. It's all about inequalities. So today's day 1. Like I just said, we'll do 3 days of notes, 1 day of review, and then a quiz at the end of the week. So we are going to fill in the blank here with the symbols. Remember that you kind of learn this when you're younger. That's like the big mouth eats the longer or the larger one, right? Same thing here. So we are going to insert the symbol less than, greater than, or equal to. So number 1, what symbol goes there? Less than. Number 2, greater than. Number 3, greater than. Number 4, equal to. Yes, if one of the sides is not simplified, you need to simplify it. Number 5, less than. Remember, when you're in the negatives, you're actually going backwards. Yes. So like the more negative the number, the smaller its value. I always think of owing someone money. Would I rather owe someone $4 or owe them $7? I'd rather just owe them $4. All right, number 6, greater than. Same thing, you'd rather owe someone $2 than $5. And the last one, I think the easiest way to do these is to type it into your calculator. So let me grab one real quick. All right, so if we do 4 divided by 7, we get 0.57. If I do 11 divided by 22, I get 0.52. So yes, the greater than symbol. What are your questions? Quiet down, guys. All right. This should all be filled in your notes already, so we can just read through these. This is what we call the less than symbol. Here's some way, if you see it in a word problem, it might just say is less than or is fewer than. This gets sometimes mixed up with subtracting in a word problem. If it's subtracting, it would say like 10 less than a number. Is less than is when it's the inequality symbol, okay? So careful with that is, it'll throw you off a little bit. This is the greater than symbol. In a word problem, it might be presented as is greater than or is more than. When there's the little line under it, that means it could be less than or it could be equal to, and that would still work, okay? So that symbol is the less than or equal to symbol. Other ways you might see it as is at most or is no more than. And then finally, we have the greater than or equal to symbol. So things that are bigger or equal could go here, and that would still work, okay? And then in a word problem, it might be seen as is at least or is no less than. This should all be in your notes already. Any questions? All right. Here's number 1. I'm not sure why the answer's already popped up there, but we'll just roll with it. So A says a number W minus 3.5, here's the key word here, is less than or equal to. So this whole thing between this number and this number gives us this symbol. And then -2. Pretty simple, right? Part B says 0 is greater than or equal to, so that gives us this symbol. Twice a number, so 2 times the n plus the 1. All right, so here are the answers for C, D, and E. We'll just read through them. So 3 is less than, so that's the less than symbol. A number n, that's where the n comes from, plus 5. Part D, a number is fewer than. Is fewer than is the same as is less than. So that's where this guy comes from, 30.4. And then E, -4 is at least. is at least means that it has to be bigger than or equal to. So that's the greater than or equal to symbol. Twice a number means 2x and then minus 4. We good? Maybe. All right, a solution of an inequality is any number that makes the inequality true. So, number 1 says determine whether each number is a solution of the inequality x is less than or equal to 7. So, is 3 a solution? Yes. 3 is less than or equal to 7. So B says if you take the x out and you put a -2 in, is that a solution? Is -2 less than or equal to 7? Yes. Also yes. If I put the 9 in, no, 9 is not less than or equal to 7. And then D, is 7 less than or equal to 7? Yes. Yeah, it is. Questions? All right. Sorry, that was pretty quick. Anybody needing more time?
No, ma'am.
All right, we're going to check number 2. So if I put 2 in, so what's 2 times 2? 4. 4 minus 1 is? 4 minus 1 is 3. Is 3 greater than 5? No. If I put a 0 in, what's 2 times 0? 0. What's 0 minus 5?
0 minus 5.
Or sorry, 0 minus 1. -1. Still will give you the same answer. That's going to be a no, right? -1 is not greater than 5. If I put in a -5, what's 2 times -5? -10, and -10 minus 1 is? -11. Is -11 greater than 5? No. Okay, this one will give us 30 minus 1, so 29. Is 29 greater than 5? Yes. And 3 would give us a 6. And 6 minus 5 is, or sorry, 6 minus 1 is 5. Is 5 greater than 5? No. Now, if there would have been an or equal to, then we would have been a yes right there. But since it's just the greater than symbol, we still have to put a no. Questions? Next, we're going to talk about graphing these. So to graph an inequality, we use the following procedures. We draw a number line with 3 dashes. For less than or greater than, we use an open circle on the number. For less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, we use a closed circle on the number. So if the number that we're graphing is part of the solution, you show that by filling in that number. If it's not part of the solution, we just put a circle there. We don't color it in. Okay? So here is example 3. We're going to graph the following. So if we're going to graph x is less than 8 on a number line, you first start with a number line, okay? Put 3 dashes on the number line. One of the dashes has the number, and then the other 2 numbers right around it. We're basically just like focusing in on the number line at a very small part, sort of like zooming in. Now, is 8 a solution? No. So I'm going to show that it starts there, but it doesn't include that by just circling that part of the number line. Don't circle the actual 8, circle the 8 on the number line. Now, you need to think of where the solutions are. Numbers that would make this true. Would it include 7 and smaller numbers this way, or would it include 9 and larger numbers this way?
7.
The 7 and the smaller numbers. So I go right up to that circle and I shade to the left. That's where things are less. What are your questions? Just shade it in with your pencil. I mean, if you want to make it colorful, I guess you can. It's not necessary. All right, part B. So again, we're going to start with the number line. We're going to focus in on the part of the number line that includes the -5. Now, here's the tricky part. What number would be to the left of -5?
-6.
-6. And then to the right would be -4. Bless you. She's allergic to number lines. That is tragic. Wow. All right. Is the 5 included in our solutions, the -5?
Yes.
Yeah, so to show that, I fill in the circle on the -5. Now, where are numbers greater than or equal to -5? To the right or to the left?
Right.
To the right. All right, here's B. Or I mean C. We just finished B.
Yeah.
So 11 is less than X. Anytime we have an inequality and the X is not in the front, I'm going to immediately rewrite it. So I want the X part to be in the front. Now go back to that like alligator idea, right? The big mouth was eating the X. The X was the larger one. When you rewrite it, the X should still be the larger one. We're not changing the value of 11 or X. We're just rewriting the order, okay? So be very careful with those symbols. This is where we graph it from. We never really like to graph unless it's in the right form. So, what number goes in the middle? 11. Then what? 10 to the left, 12 to the right. All right, I'm going to circle the 11. It's not included, so do not color it in. To the right or to the left? To the right. We want numbers bigger than 11.
Okay.
All right. Part D. Getting interesting.
Oh no.
All right. So, I am going to show on the number line the two numbers to the left and to the right of the fraction I am talking about. So I have -4 and 2/3. So I want the -5. I want the -4. The denominator is how many spaces you want. I want to divide the space between -5 and -4 into 3 parts. The way you do that is you put 2 lines. One line gives you 2 parts, you know what I mean? So it's always, you need enough dashes for one less than this. So 3 spaces on the number line, 2 dashes. Now, is the 2/3 when I'm going to the negative, is that closer to the -5 or the -4? -5, I need to go 2 this way, so it's going to be this guy right here. Now you follow the regular old rules. Open or closed? Open, because it's not or equal to, and to the left or to the right. It's there to show that like this would be negative 4 1/3. So that's where the fraction's located. It's 2/3 of the way to the negative 5. So that's our 1/3, 2/3. Questions? All right. Here's E. So we've got a couple things going on this one. We got to switch it first. So my new inequality will be what? X is less than or equal to 1/2. So I'll need on my number line the 1 and the 2. And then the half is just right in the middle. So you only need 1 dash. Who said 1 and 2?
You did.
Marquis, and then I did it.
No, you said 1.
I know. I heard someone else say, and I was just sort of zoned out. It's Monday morning. I'm like, oh yeah, it's between the 1 and the 2. It's not between the 1 and the 2. Oh, Monday strikes again. What? If it was 1.5, it'd be between the 1 and the 2. That's a good one. I fall right into it. Okay. Obviously a half is between the 0 and the 1. My bad. What do I do next? Fill it in or leave it open? Fill it in. It is an or equal to, and I am going left or right?
Right.
That one I won't fall for. Yes. Numbers that are smaller than 1/2 would be to the left. Oh, I see what you're doing. You don't go with the original symbol. You go with the new symbol. So first you rewrite it.
Oh, greater than. I'm stupid. Yep.
It was greater than when it was written in the wrong order. Then it became less than or equal to. All right, questions? Which part? The rewriting it?
This part.
The fractions?
I don't like how you have to make it equal to.
All right. Chill it out. Okay. 5/4. 5/4 is the same as 1 1/4. You can leave it like this if you want. You just have to recognize that this is actually a fraction that's improper. So you have to go past the 1, but not yet to the 2. Okay, so it's a little easier to see if you change it to a mixed number. Does everyone following? I don't like mixed numbers, but it's easier to graph them if this is a mixed number. Okay, so what is 1 1/4 in between? This one is in between 1 and 2. I got it. How many spaces do I need?
3.
I need 4 spaces, so I need how many lines?
3.
3.
That's what I meant.
Whoa.
Whoa.
You need 4 spaces, so you only need the 3 lines. Now, which one do I want to go to? How many do I jump? 1. Fill it in because it is or equal to. Greater than goes to the right. So I want to write it x what? Less than or equal to negative 17. And then you were right. We need 3 lines. Negative 17 goes in the middle. What goes here? Negative 18. Negative 16. Open or closed? Closed. Left or right? Left. Good. How was that? So yes, on my graph, I'm going to need the 12 and the 13 0.5 is the same thing as half. So we're going to go halfway between 12 and 13. We're going to leave it open, and we're going to go to the left. Start with your x.
Okay, x is greater than -3.
Very good. X is greater than -3. Remember, the part that you're writing about is the shaded part. That's our variable. If you wanted to use W, you could. P, Q, whatever. Just do not include the -3 and make sure you're writing the parts that are bigger. So X is greater than, not equal to, just greater than -3.
I want to do this one too. No.
So you got to start with your X. Very good. X is less than or equal to 2. Stop. You guys are making the most random noises right now. Stop. Okay. C. X.
Is it less than 0?
X is less than 0. Good. Yes. X is greater than or equal to -6.5. Very good. So just remember, you're leading with the variable. Decide which part of the graph is shaded, the bigger part or the smaller part. Is it or equal to or not? And then the number goes last. Okay, now we're going to write some inequalities. So part A. Or no, I guess we have to read the example. Example 5. The tallest person in the world who ever lived, was approximately 8 foot 11 inches.
Dang.
Part A. Write an inequality that represents the height of every other person who ever lived. What do you think the 107 represents? Inches, yes. So to find that in inches, I'm going to actually write a mixed number. So this would be like 8 and 11 over 12, okay? If we're changing it to inches, you would multiply, then add, right? So what is 12 times 8?
96.
It's 96 plus 11 is 107. So X represents every other person ever. Has anyone also been this tall?
No.
No. It said this is the only person. We're not graphing this guy. We're graphing everyone else. So that's why there is no or equal to. Okay? So just X less than 107.
I wonder if that's still the same.
Part B. Is 9 feet a solution? So if you just want to think back to the original, you can. Okay? 9 feet is obviously bigger than 8 feet 11 inches. Or you can change it to inches. Okay? 9 times 12 would be 108. Is 108 a solution? It is not. Okay? Any questions?
Today we learned.
Yes.
Today we learned about inequalities.
Okay, so yes, you are correct. Today we learned about inequalities. Okay, we will continue with inequalities tomorrow and Wednesday. We'll slow it down a little, review end of the week, take a quiz. Any questions?